Hey, Coach Dan again. I just want to give you a quick preview of what we're going to be doing in our next practice. And we'll probably look to reinforce some of these things in the Thursday practice as well. So the theme is going to be switching the field of play. As you know, often when you get the ball and you start working it down one side of the field, you'll notice that the defense will converge on there and they'll fill more people along there, and they'll tend to compress people along here and up towards the ball. So attempts to move the ball forward are more difficult. And it's not atypical to see that a good majority of the passes you try to play forward, you eventually lose possession. So when you recognize that, and often you may have just won the ball and you try to move forward from that position as the defense is compressing on you, or do you look to try to zigzag pass it or get a few passes to make it over to the other side as quickly as possible to exploit the space that is likely open on the other side. And so we're going to do a series of progressions of skills as well as tactics in order to get comfortable in doing those types of things. So the first thing we're going to do, obviously, is go through a warm-up. We'll do our typical warm-up. And so my preference is, though, with a 7:30 start, get here at 7:15 so that we have 15 minutes of warm-up. And then we can get right into our skills and tactics at 7:30, because lights will be out exactly at 8:30 at Draper. All right, so the first thing I want to do is that I'm going to have a series of 5x5 boxes set up, as many as there are sets of 2 players. And the reason for this is that when you often win the ball in tight space, and the starting of actually transitioning and moving the ball from one place to another is to get possession and maintain possession. And it may be in those 2 seconds when you first received it, you're going to get a lot of pressure back from the other team. So one of the things you got to be able to do very competently is hold that ball. It may be for half a second, 2 seconds, or 5 seconds, and be able to get your body in the position to be able to release the pass that you want to make, not necessarily rush the pass. And so we're just going to work very briefly on some a 1v1 shielding within a confined space. And so you're going to have one player with the ball, the other player trying to work, and the other player, angling to keep that ball away from the defensive player, and then we'll switch spaces. We'll transition from this individual stuff that we'll be doing. We'll do a few other individual things in those boxes. We'll transition from that into what has been a typical warm-up for us is the 3-team keep away, all right? So we'll have a bit of a box or an area. What we'll do is have 3 different teams, and let's say we'll have a red team, all right? We'll have a green team of 4 and a white team of 4. And essentially, they're gonna play keep away with this ball. So let's say the red team has it and they're playing with the white team. The white and the green team is gonna start coming in here in order to try to win the ball, and they can converge and they're gonna compress the space. And so the whole idea is that if I'm red and white at this point, I gotta use to look as many angles as I can. I wanna get out along these boundaries, find the passing lanes, and get ready should we be able to receive the ball, so that you switch the field of play or find it in the space so that you have more time to make those decisions. And so it's looking to get out of that compressed area as quickly as you can. You may actually have to do a quick fake sometimes individually in order to evade player, but you have to have your head up and know where your next pass is going to be and try to get it to the other side. And if, let's say, this team loses the ball and green wins it, then red is on defense, but now green wins it and green has to think, hey, I can't keep it in this area, I gotta switch the field of play too, because if I keep it too long in one area, the defense will eventually compress on you and you'll lose the ball. So that's kind of the concept too of switching the field of play, is a bit in switching your frame of mind when you've won the ball, how are you going to attack with it, how are you going to maintain possession, and a lot of it is, let's not keep it in this one area that you just won it, because you're likely to lose it again as the defense converges on you. So we'll move away from that 3-team keep away into a kind of a 5v2 drill. We did this once before, in which we're going to have boxes on each side of the field, and we're going to have one team start in one box 5 and another team of 5 players. Oop, that came off. Start with 5 players in this box, all right? And so we're going to start, let's say the ball here. We're going to converge 2 players into this as they're passing, and their goal is to get 10 passes before, get as many sequence of 10 passes before they can be disrupted by the green team. If they make 10, we'll send an actual additional defender in there. And what some of these folks are doing, oh, excuse me. That one doesn't want to stay. Stay. So we've played this before, and so when the green team does win it, they can switch it all the way back over to here, or take an intermediate pass to the person that's hanging outside the box and get it in here. But the whole idea is then to shift over and support and move as a team to the other side. It's the switching of field of play. So once you've won the ball, it's a matter of thinking about, I got to get my head up and I got to get the ball to the other side. And white will then converge and start throwing their players in there as you're trying to complete passes on this side of the field. So it's a 5v2 that may evolve into a 5v3, etc., until the ball's won and then switch back to the other side. And different players can extract themselves from each side to go and defend and start the defense as we have the 5v2. Make sense? All right, and then we're going to finalize it or finish it with a bit of a game in which we'll emphasize the switching the field of play. That will be a requirement for you to attack. And because we're only going to have a third of the field to play in, we'll have essentially we'll have gates on each side. And if it's, let's say, the green team, let's say 4 of these right here, versus the white team. So what they're going to have to do is that the green team is going to have to, let's say, they're going to work on over here and try to make a pass through this. But let's say that's blocked, and then you have people defending over here. You're going to realize that I can't make that pass to one of my players through that, and I'm going to switch the ball. They're going to look to attack these gates on a 2v1, let's say. Get a player through here and make the pass. Once that pass is made, white team has to back off. Green team regroups, and they go to goal, all right, and they attack. And so the whole idea is that we want to work it so emphasizing the switching the field of play, find the gate that allows you to actually get downfield, and then because we don't have a downfield to play in with our practice situation, we're going to turn around and go to goal. Make sense? Or maybe it doesn't, but I'll explain a little bit more in practice, and looking forward to getting as many people out there as possible. Team Snap, I've got, as of now, I've got 7 people that replied, thank you, that said yes, I had 2 that said no. Thank you to those as well, because let me know, and I got 1 maybe. And I still have 7 people that haven't notated in Team Snap as to whether they're going to be there or not. The comments are very helpful. I read them, so please indicate, because this helps me understand. You can see that I'm trying to develop some type of strategy or game plan or a drill. The number of players that I have to work with will really determine what type of thing I can do here. And so knowing that before I go into the practice is hugely, hugely helpful. So thank you for just indicating on Team Snap one way or the other. That would be great prior to the practice. So if I need to make any adjustments to how I work this plan for practice, I can do that. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.